You're listening to How I See It, hosted by Han. You guessed it, that's me. I am here to motivate and inspire you with guests from all different industries and backgrounds. So get ready for personal stories of success, of growth, full of highs and lows, and of course, unapologetic realness. This is How I See It. Okay, you guys, I'm very excited to introduce Dr. Jonathan Levine to you today. To put it simply, he's best known for his reinvented take on dental care. He's not just a DMD, he's an author, he's a visionary, he's a philanthropist. We're going to get all into it. He is the expert behind GBL, New York City, with 35 plus years of trusted dental and aesthetic care in New York. And they just opened their second practice not too long ago, Smile House Tribeca, which is where we'll be hosting our New York Fashion Week happy hour. Thank you, Dr. Jonathan, for that.
Excited to be here and excited for that.
He's also the founder of Glo Science and the Glo Good Foundation. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'm so happy to have you here. I've done so much research on you. Talked to your team a bit. I've met every single family member, I feel like, of yours,
Totally.
except for you.
Totally.
And it seems like you just have like your hand in so many different things. And I would say like the common thread to it all is you can really tell that you care so much about what you do. So I'd love to hear like going back, like where you started, like was this always the path? Like how did you get here?
Right. How did we get to where we got to, right? It's
Yeah.
always a great question. I appreciate it. So for me, as I kind of do the look back, I was a lacrosse player at Cornell and a science major in immunology and microbiology. I was on a team with these young guys with this amazing, amazing coach. We lose our sophomore year, we lose our junior year when we beat a team in the semifinals, and we go undefeated, national champs my senior year. That showed me that everything is possible when you love your teammates, when you set a big goal and a big vision, and you work really hard. I didn't think I liked business, and I was kind of an academic type. And I got out of Cornell and I decided that I liked working with my hands and I was doing some sculpture. I said, dentistry would be really interesting.
Wait, you were doing sculpture. You're an artist?
I was playing around.
That's
I was playing around
awesome.
with Cornell. For what the specialty I went into, you got to be super creative because I'm an aesthetic prosthodontist, which is all about structure, function, biology, but aesthetics and how we enhance facial aesthetics. But didn't know that back then, but I knew I'd like work with my hands. And probably had something to do with the fact that I was very close with my grandfather, and he was a carpenter. And I was always assisting him. And he was always telling me, get away, you're going to ruin something. But I was always like, no, I really want to help, a little kid.
Yeah.
But there I was. I ended up going to BU Goldman School of Dentistry, which is one of the top dental schools. I was very fortunate to get in. I get out, and I'm 35 years ago, I am talking about dentistry completely fragmented, completely siloed. If you have a gum issue, you go to this specialist. If you have a root canal, you go to this specialist. And what I realized was that this concept of team approach and everything is possible had to be reinvented in the profession. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. And it took me decades to start moving the needle on that. But literally 3 companies later, and I started kind of putting docs together and building teams, and then a company called Go Smile that we grew, my wife and I, which was all about taking oral care products out of the drugstore and putting it into prestige beauty. And Sephora was our big partner, and they had an amazing team, David Sulitiano and Margarita Arigato, who's a huge person in beauty like David. They became great partners for us, and we blew up a beautiful category. And that was fun. And then we sold that company, and then we went onwards and upwards where I had some new ideas. And at this point, I have about 29 patents on medical device delivery systems, and we started Glo Science. It was all about building teams. I started to love business because I realized it's very much like athletics. I used to coach for years. Long story short, now, when you look at my profession, it's finally becoming more of a collaborative approach. So the big idea that I did with my 2 sons, neither one went into dentistry. They supplement kind of what we're trying to do, which is this reinvention of the patient journey, putting all the specialists under one roof, which I've had in my practice for 20 years. I have an amazing team. But reinventing the look, the feel, the branding, the journey, and using the new technology of dentistry, where dentistry is very much connected to medicine. We can diagnose sleep, microbiome problems in the mouth, which leads to issues in the rest of the body because of inflamed gums, which become what's called leaky gums, just like leaky gut.
Yeah.
An amyloid plaque of Alzheimer's in the brain, on and on and on. What is this bacteria doing in these other areas? And that's because they're finding its way there.
What made you invest your time and knowledge to figuring out and going kind of past what I would say the normal dentist in actually connecting our actual mental health and other issues besides teeth? Did you have already an interest in understanding mental health and healing? What got you to wanting to pursue, I guess, more knowledge?
Yeah. Well, I think that's such a great, interesting question because we're really talking about mindset, and we can talk about it for every profession. For me, I was never satisfied with where I was. It's always, let's go. What's next?
Yeah.
For me, as a microbiology, immunology, my learnings at Cornell and then medical school, and where I went, my DMD, I was in med school for 2 years, then we go over to the dental school at BU. It was just such a strong science background. So once you get out, and you're learning, and then I go postgraduate to become a prosthodontist, a specialist, which is all about kind of the sculpting of tooth shape, tooth position to create beautiful smiles. I think it's just having that mindset of everything is possible. It was not, oh my God, I'm getting out of this profession. This is not what I thought. I wasn't built like that. For me, let's go change it. Let's go improve it. Let's go do something different and something unexpected that is dear to me. And that brought me to a lot of these different places. I call it my ecosystem because I play in a lot of different areas of healthcare.
Well, you went deeper, it seems, and you got curious about things more than what you were taught, it seems. Because
for sure.
I think the thing that I resonated so strongly with Smile House when I heard about it, and I thought it was so interesting, it was what took me to my emails to draft, I want to reach out to this person, is that you guys are talking about the microbiome of the mouth impacting stress, impacting disease. And I feel if you're not someone that's already curious about going deeper into work, you wouldn't have even really discovered those things anyway.
Yeah. Well, it is, look, at the end of the day, it's a lot of scientific observation and research.
Yeah.
And now you got 58, you name every disease you can think of, and it's at least 58 of them. Systemic inflammatory diseases, body diseases, and everything's inflammatory, cancer's inflammatory, are linked to inflammation in the mouth. Now, does that mean it's the only causative factor? No, of course not, because you've got a constellation of risk factors for cardiovascular disease, diabetes. In other words, there's all these elements that lead up to disease, whether it's the stress you mentioned, whether it's poor nutrition, whether it's lack of motion, whether it's the ability to deal with all these things factor into our sleep. All of these type of stresses and oxidative stresses and environmental toxins will have their way on our bodies. So, when you think of all of those things, it was so interesting for someone like me to go into this field. And I went on different levels. I'm one of the first guys in the country to do porcelain veneers at the age of 26 because by accident I meet the technician, Adrian Jerome, who figured out how to bond porcelain to the teeth. Happenstance. But it really helped me kind of catapult a career that got me into aesthetics. And then once I was in aesthetics, I got into teaching. Once I was into teaching, I was into kind of being a serial entrepreneur. And in the last 10 years, I'm very much into this connection of mouth-body because the research and science is so definitive of what we're talking about. And I have a third book coming out on that about think oral health for people to become aware because it's a pretty easy answer because it's managing all of these domains of longevity, right? The sleep, the stress, the nutrition, the motion that we have to move, it's that fitness, all of those domains. And really to have an oral health game to control the bacteria in the mouth so you don't get inflammatory disease in the mouth.
Yeah. And I feel when people think of dentistry too, they don't think about all of this stuff. And I think that's what's beautiful about what you guys are doing too, is you're making it very approachable, beautiful, aesthetic, and you're going about it holistically. I was reading something you said about the mind, body, and soul being connected to the mouth. Can you talk a little bit about your approach on that?
The eyes do not see what the mind doesn't know. Okay, so when we diagnose, today we're not just looking at, is there decay in a tooth? I'm using a periodontal probe. Is there gum problems? Yes, of course. But we look at all these other things because we know so much more now. Now we look at all of these elements of structure. Are you breathing through the nose or are you breathing through the mouth? What's your airway like? What's that diameter? We see that off of these CAT scans. So CAT scans for the jaws, which has been around now for the last 10, 15 years in dentistry, will become a standard of care in the next 10 years. Itero scans, where we can see the function, how teeth come together. I can go on and on with all these new technologies. But what has happened, it has allowed us to diagnose and unpack deeply. So we can diagnose a sleep issue. We could diagnose a microbiome problem. We swallow 2 to 3 billion bacteria a day. So if you have inflammation in the mouth, that bacteria not only is getting through the blood system with leaky gums, it's getting through the digestive tract into the gut lining. And when you put all these things together, it's a bit of a golden age of science and research. We all know that. What's happening with AI and quantum computer and our ability to do so much research. In 1950, it took something like 55 years to double the scientific research. In 2026, how long do you think it takes to double the scientific research?
Oh my God, as fast as ChatGPT can give us an
Exactly.
answer.
Try 72 days.
Wow.
It's amazing. So we're dealing with, unless, the government decides to cut out all the funding to the universities, but we ain't going to go there. But, we're in an amazing time in our lives, unless we tend to screw it up, but we'll try not to.
So you mentioned how the mouth can be connected to the gut.
Yes.
And then obviously we know so much about the gut being connected to mental health. So could you say that your dental hygiene can impact your mental health?
Exactly right. Talk about cognitive function diseases. What is this bug, this bacteria, P. gingivalis, doing in the amyloid plaque, which is, blocking the neuronal transfer, the synaptic transfer of impulses in the brain. And so you're getting these disconnections. We've known for a good kind of 15 years that, yes, these bacteria are working its way in the bloodstream. And there was a pathogenesis of this disease, a pathway for cardiovascular disease, for diabetes. But now there's all these other diseases definitively showing that the mouth is connected to the rest of the body.
That's insane.
Makes sense, doesn't it? The mouth's
Yeah.
connected to the rest of the body. So it's about time, 2025 soon to be.
Well, you're trailblazing
2026.
it seems. A lot of people just do what they're told or what they think they're supposed to do. We're told to go to the doctor. People don't really prioritize dental health. I'm guilty of it. I don't go to the dentist a lot, which I'm very excited to go visit.
I
Smile
can't
House,
wait
by
to-
the way.
Yo, get ready.
I need to go in just knowing they're going to be like, girl, you need to floss, you need to do things. But I think it's about staying curious. It seems like you're a very curious person. I think all serial entrepreneurs kind of are. Would
Yeah.
you say that growing up, kind of going back to your journey, did you kind of know that you were going to be successful? Has that always been in you to know that you're going to be curious and build and grow? Or was that something that you feel over time you just started taking advantage of opportunities and executing on them?
For me, as a dad with the young men, and if it would have been young women, it would have been, let's put equal effort into academics. And I'm a big proponent of team sport and athletics, and just athletics in general. And I think it was the athletics and my experiences with coaches that push you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Look, you look at any person who's really good at what they do, whether you're playing in a symphony, whether you're an athlete in a sport. How did it happen? I mean, you just watched this amazing U.S. Open with these incredible tennis players, Alcaraz and Sinner. How do they move like that? I know how they move like that. They work 24/7. They work so hard as young people. I think I adopted a similar mindset. And so whether it goes from sports to academics to a profession, I was getting into a profession where I felt that I was always showing up.
Yeah.
I was always moving forward. I'm attracted to people who are like-minded. I'm attracted to people who like to challenge the status quo, go after it. And I've also evolved into a place where, as I, teach and lectured for decades and build teams around everything I'm doing, because nothing you can do is alone. It's always about building team, everybody bringing their superpowers to the table, right? And really digging each other. That's when the magic happens. That, I'm really into this conversation is how do we make each other the best versions of ourselves? This whole concept of, servant leadership and to serve each other. Of all the things I do that brings me the most joy is our foundation. This partnership I have with Lenny Kravitz. Imagine, my wife says about us, and, we're a very close family, and she says, I know why Lenny gets along so well with you, Jonathan. She goes, yeah, because Lenny Kravitz is a rock star who thinks he's a dentist, and you're a dentist who thinks you're a rock star. And, you got to see him in the missions. He's with us. The music is blasting. And we've been able to build something in Eleuthera, which is in the Bahamas, a 14-chair freestanding clinic. Henry Schein Cares got us all the equipment. The church gave us the building. Now we're looking to do this down in the Roaring Fork in Colorado. But it's such a great model, and we bring about 100 people down. Doctors, dentists, working together under one roof, which showed me what happens when the professions collide
and
and
it's
work
so
together.
beautiful too. I went by Smile House yesterday and saw all the pictures on the wall of like all the people whose smiles you like have given back, and like the work you guys are doing out there is absolutely amazing. And I think it's like very clear when you see people doing stuff like that. It's like you like love what you do, and you like really have found your purpose. And I think a lot of people really struggle to identify what their purpose is. And it seems like you've coincided yours with like service of others. Would you say that's true?
100%. 100%. But, I love that you bring this up because, like Simon Sinek would say, find your why. But the fact that you might not know your purpose yet is not for you to have anxiety. It's coming because you're on the journey and you're going to figure it out. And for me, I didn't figure out, purpose until I got to a certain age. Because, we're in our 20s, we're in our 30s, we're in our 40s, we're in kind of go-go years, right?
Yeah.
We're going. We're moving into different things, different opportunities. But then there comes a time when you are starting to reflect and you say, why am I doing what I'm doing? It becomes important. And you really figure it out. And for me, to do this foundation and kind of inspire my teammates, my professional friends. I used to lecture a lot as one of the first guys in aesthetic dentistry with bonded porcelain and porcelain veneers all over the world. I'd be in South America and Europe. So we bring a lot of my colleagues from all over the world come to the foundation missions. It is so much fun because we're all together. We're all doing the same thing for the same reason.
Yeah.
And we say we get more out of it than the people we serve. And that's something special. We then evolved where I bring these CEO coaches to the foundation mission, and they help coach up the docs so that when they go back to their practices, they know how to build a better culture, how to grow their business better, how to have personal growth, that personal mastery that we all want to develop.
Yeah, well, you're creating impact. And I think like when you're spending so many hours like doing something, I mean, at least for me with the podcast, like I started this because I was like, I want people to feel less alone. I want people to hear people's stories and know that they don't need to stay in a place of victimhood, for lack of a better word, and that like other people are going through shit too. People are building things, they're growing things, they don't know their purpose, they are going through depression, and like we're all going through the same things. But I think when you spend so many hours doing something that creates impact, it makes work feel so much more fulfilling, and you're making impact, you're seeing it.
Yeah. I think you got to get a couple steps earlier to that, though. I think you're 100% right. But my couple of steps earlier to that is the ability, like we develop a muscle, we develop, the ability to be a marathon runner or a great swimmer. We're developing our minds. And we have to develop our minds in a very specific way. People get caught up, unfortunately, in focusing on negative thoughts and negativity and things that happen to us. And I should have done this and I should have done that. You got to vaporize these thoughts. You got to stay in this wake up in the morning optimistic mindset. That's why I love Robin Sharma, the author. I the 5 a.m. Club. I love it. Brandon Bouchard. I love these people that really can help us. Minoj with Open and his meditation and breath app. All these people. And it's just keeping your mind open to this and for young people to surround themselves with like-minded people and share these ideas and start your day positive. Once you get your mindset right, these opportunities come in front. They really come in front of you. And this negativity doesn't bring you down, because the truth is everything is possible. We are so fortunate. We live in this amazing, amazing country, even though there's crazy things going on around us. The truth of the matter is we're blessed. And it's like, what are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do moving forward? And I just think, as my good friend Peter says, you just show up. Just keep doing what you want to be doing.
Yeah.
And our careers are so non-linear. We zig, we zag. We zig, we zag, because the people we meet can impact our thinking. They impact us from 20 feet away from the studies. So a positive, optimistic person, you feel the person.
Yeah.
You feel the energy when you meet a person. You know, those people that you connect with in 2 seconds because they're positive, they're high energy. Well, the truth of the matter is, those are the people we want to hang out with.
Yeah.
So for me, when I bring the 100 people down, we're all focused on the same thing, which is helping people and being there for each other. Oh, my God. It is something special. And that's what I want people to build in their lives.
Yeah.
It would be very positive.
I love that you're speaking to this, because I feel like you're speaking to like flexibility of the mind. Like you have to be able to like pivot and change and restart again and fall down and go back up.
Oh.
Do you think that was something, like, I know you talk about sports, but like, was that something you feel like you learned over time, just from like growing and going through ups and downs? Like, do you have like a low moment where you were like, what the fuck am I doing? Am I in the right place? Am I doing this? Where you like overcame it and you were like, okay, yeah, that's what like has proven to me almost as proof of concept that like you need to be able to like channel flexibility in the mind and be positive to be able to move forward.
It's so important to get it right, what you just are talking about. You have to embrace failure.
Yeah.
Because if you don't embrace failure, you are frozen. You don't try. You don't attempt. Like Wayne Gretzky says, I miss every shot I don't take. You take the shots. The first company I started, honestly, it was such a disaster. I raised $10 million. I put all these guys that I know together, and there was a whole reason why it didn't work. Now, I could have done one or two things. I could have put my head in the sand and done OMG and been a victim.
Yeah.
But there's one thing you learn from athletics. You're not a victim. You pick yourself up and you say, let's go. What's next? What did I learn? Let's take those learnings and move forward.
Yeah.
And that was the next company. And that's the mindset. You talked about this victimhood mindset and, versus, one where you're optimistic, you're positive, and one of abundance. And, embracing these failures. It's critical to success. But you have to not get negative on it. You actually got to say, I figured something out. The way I've been able to invent and have these patents is there's a concept called agile innovation. And the idea is, and it came out of the software industry, Eric Ries wrote a great book on this. And basically it says that when you have an idea, you want to get it out there and test it. Don't overthink it. Just test it, because the feedback from the build will allow you to learn. So it's called build, test, learn, positive reinforcing loop.
I love that.
And it allows you, I have a product. I have a skincare product. I have a hair product. I have a new service business. Don't overthink with a big plan. Start it, prototype it, test it, get the feedback.
Well, I think a big plan is almost procrastination. Like people are like stuck, and so they like get so caught up on all these little details, and then the longer you wait, the more scared you get. So then you don't execute, and then you're just in this like really bad, unproductive like spiral of just stuckness. And I think for me, it's about reframing like failure is actually being stuck. It's not like trying and it not working, because the more you try, the more you can, to your point, execute. But I think we've got it twisted. Like not executing is actually what I view in my head as more failure. Like if I have an idea and I'm just like waiting around and sitting because I'm scared, I feel like to me, I can look at like that and be like, I should actually be more wary of doing that than messing up.
And I have to go back to athletics.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
What are you going to do? I got 16 games in the season. I lost the first game. What did I learn? The coach comes out there. Okay, this guy, we learned this, our ground balls are, I'm a lacrosse player, so I'm going to do lacrosse analogies. But the bottom line is we're learning all the way up. So we're embracing it. We're not getting down on ourselves.
Yeah.
That's the positive, optimistic mindset. Perfection stands in the way of progress. All you got to do is move the needle. Progress. One step at a time. And you know this for people who want to go to the gym, people who want to lose weight. You know, at the end of the day, I'm a big believer in Stoic philosophy and Marcus Aurelius. And they talk about, temperance, and they talk about discipline. I mean, I love Ryan Holiday talking about these things. But there's a discipline we have to build. We have to fight an urge to hit the refrigerator at 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
Please, come on. Shut it down. Get the Oura Ring on. Get to sleep early. Get a great night's sleep. Wake up refreshed. Start your day.
Well, I think discipline builds confidence. And so, if you can do that and you're, dedicated to the things that you care about, or you're dedicated to the steps it takes to get to your goals, you can feel more confident about what you're doing. Exactly. And I would argue that, and I hope you don't take this offensively, but it's I feel like there's not that many people your age that, are invested in, the things we're talking about, the Oura Ring and discipline, health and wellness. What got you into, that zone of actually, caring about, your mental health and doing things like having an Oura Ring and tracking certain things and staying disciplined with your mental health routines and reading, you're reading and talking about philosophers and different types of people. Where does that come from?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. It's every day. Every day, let's improve mentally, physically, our relationships. I'm married 43 years. I got the most amazing wife. If she's listening. Stacy's the glue of our family. I got two amazing boys, and you can't take it lightly, and building relationships with our friends, our family, people we surround ourselves with. It's all about the work that we put into it. And it's the same thing with ourselves. For me, it was you get from your 40s to 50s, your 60s on up. You can't start too late on these things. The earlier you start, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah.
And for me, I've always been an athlete, so that mindset continued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem like you have ego around it. You're willing to learn new things and grow.
You can't have ego. You gotta leave ego.
I always say mine is dead. It's squashed on the ground.
Get out of it. We got to be. I tell my sons this, and people who, I coach up a little bit. And I advise about 7-8 startups. No, we have to be hungry. We're going after it. You want to grow something, you literally got to be a baller.
In all
go
aspects.
After it. You got to go after it, but you got to be humble.
Yeah.
We got to be humble souls. We can't be know-it-alls. Nobody wants to hang around with a know-it-all. And if you're a know-it-all, you're not going to learn anything.
Well, and you're not going to be successful because the moment you think you know everything is the moment you stop growing.
Exactly.
How did you meet your wife?
Stacy Levine. Oh, boy. So we went to camp together.
Aww.
We were in the same play, Guys and Dolls. And about 12 years later, we were reintroduced at a hangout summer bar called AJ and Friends. And I'm on the way to BU Dental School, and she's an undergrad. And I was in trouble the minute I saw her. Because I didn't even remember her, but that was it, And we got married 4 years later. I got married at the ripe old age of 26. And, it's...
Wow.
That's it. It's when you meet the right one. I had good coaching from people about marriage, which is you got to work at it.
Yeah.
And, we all have our moments and our ups and downs, of course. But at the end of the day, there's a priority of what's important in our life. And we have to hold that dear because, there's a million distractions out there. She wakes up in the morning and she wakes up with a smile and I love you, Johnny. That's my wife. She's a happy human. She's an optimistic person. There is no challenge. We had 13 days to sell these tickets for the concert we put on in Aspen, Colorado. I was telling you about. Now I'm a concert
You need to
promoter.
break it down for people, what you guys did in Aspen.
Okay, here's what we did. So we have the foundation missions in Eleuthera, Bahamas with Lenny Kravitz. Let Love Rule and the Glo Good Foundations. We do dental and medical missions for the underserved population. We've been doing this for 10 years. We also live part-time in Colorado in Aspen. And down valley, the Roaring Fork Valley, is very underserved. And I've always wanted to help the people there. I spoke to Lenny about doing a concert to raise money for our foundations. He was coming to Aspen anyway for Jazz Aspen, which is Jim Horowitz and Andy Paul. He's the chairman of it, and they put on an amazing headliner events Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Lenny had Saturday night. Okay, so he's coming there. We finally got it going. Thank God for Jama at Snow Lodge and Surf Lodge, because Jama was our partner, and her and her team help us with the people from the St. Regis. Stefan, who owns the St. Regis, amazing. They gave us the courtyard. We brought in Lenny's band. Jama helped us. We sold the tickets. We had 13 days, and we filled the place, and the sound was amazing because they don't do small. So they brought in the 14-piece
So
full
cool.
band, staging, lighting, everything. And then we had a big dinner after with about 110 people raising money for the foundation.
Wow.
We did great. The town is very philanthropic, as you would imagine, and we're going to build a freestanding clinic down Valley. But we had the 13 days to do it. And Stacy, my wife, she was a house on fire.
Wow.
My sons, and we all got it done.
So cool. And
Yeah.
Lenny actually performed, right?
Lenny performed with his whole band, and everybody freaked out because it was so intimate. And
So
he's
cool.
touching everybody. And, Jazz Asthma Saturday night, it's like more like 10,000 people, and also was amazing. But in an intimate setting, it was pretty special.
That is so cool. So you're officially a concert promoter.
I'm adding it to the CV. I'm going to see if it's got any legs.
Well, to your point, it's like you can reinvent still. You can change careers.
I'm good. I'm ready. I love it. It's like Stacy says, the dentist that thinks he's a rock star. That's it. Let's go.
I love that. If you could leave anything with anyone listening today who's like maybe stuck, or they want to start a company, or they don't know their purpose, like what's something that you feel like people should hear?
Yeah. I live in this world, and where I'm a full professor at NYU, and I used to talk about prosthodontics and aesthetics and structural function and biology, and now I talk about leadership and personal growth and personal mastery. And I'm a very big believer in dreaming really big. And when you're dreaming really big, as a friend of mine would say, you do so where you surround yourself with people you really love to hang around with, you love to be with. And that's when the magic can happen. And so it's bringing the experts in. So you have an idea. You want to start a concept. You want to do the diligence necessary to unpack that to a point where you can start. Like we were talking about, this minimal viable product, this MVP. But you really don't do it alone. And it's not how you're going to do it. It's who are you going to get to help you do that service, product, whatever you're going after. We say who, not how. That's a Dan Sullivan line from, he has a company called Strategic Coach, and he's been coaching CEOs for 40 years. An amazing guy who works out of Toronto. But who, not how, surrounding yourself with experts, dream really big, and bring to the table people you really want to be with. Do not waste your time with people who are not like-minded, who do not share your value system.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's hard to unpack and figure it out, and it takes a little bit of time. But when you figure it out, then you know who you want to really be with, because life's too short.
Well, I think that's really important too, because I think a lot of times we think we can like save people or bring people up with us, and we end up just drowning with them, unfortunately. And I think I've learned that lesson a lot, because I'm definitely that person that wants like everybody to like pursue more, and I see people's potential, and I try to like bring people up with me, whether it's romantically or business wise or even friends, and you always end up drowning with people who are stuck. And I think that's just the unfortunate reality of how things work.
And you have to figure that out yourself. 20 people can tell you that. It's going to be, Anna, it's going to be like pushing water up the hill. You're not going to, you're going to work so, and you know what? You got to figure it out yourself. But once you figure it out, like you did, you got it, because you're going to realize the flow, the transitions, how easy it is, how much better it is, how much you love it, how quicker you move,
Yeah.
Because there's speed and trust, as Steve Covey would say. There's this speed that happens when you're trying to do something with like-minded people who share your values, who align on your vision, purpose, value system. So, you got to figure it. Some of that stuff you got to figure out on your own.
Totally. Well, and I think to your point, like when your ego is dead and like you're willing to lean on other people, you can accelerate so much quicker. I mean, even with like, I've been a creator, an influencer for so long, and then a podcaster, and then I started an agency. And like, I didn't know how to be a consultant. I had never done that before.
Right.
But my ego's so dead. Like, I was willing to like tap into everyone I knew to like teach me how to talk like a consultant. Teach me how like you would pitch. I know how to pitch a brand. Do you pitch your clients the same way? I had no ego about like asking people for help and making sure I could lean on the people that I trust to do so. I was able to like get this going in like a 6-month period because I was willing to like lean on other people and not like be so rigid about like, well, I don't want to ask for help. I want to do it myself.
I'll give 100%. I'll give an inviolate rule. You do something in your life and you're dealing with somebody with a big ego, do not walk, run the other way.
Yeah.
When you're doing something and you're dealing with somebody who's humble, the most successful people I've met who are humble are the most extraordinary people to be around.
Yeah.
Because they know where they came from. They know what it took to get themselves there. And they're willing to make the effort to help you in any way, shape, or they're servants, leaders. They're servant leadership people.
Yeah.
Robert Greenleaf, servant leadership, amazing concepts. We make each other the best versions of themselves so that you in turn become the best you can be, to serve each other. And you surround yourself. You build a company, you build an agency, you build a service business, and everybody adopts that mindset. How do we help each other be the best? Now you're talking about something. Now you got something.
What's a book, like right off the bat, that's like one of your favorites that you'd recommend for like personal growth and like entrepreneurship, but like past the like stereotypical entrepreneurship, something that like involves mindset and personal growth?
There's so many. I threw out a couple. But beyond entrepreneurship, BE 2.0, Jim Collins, where his new one, he wrote it out in 2020, is a phenomenal entrepreneurship book because the standard was good to great, Jim Collins. You get the right people on the bus in the right seat. His early 25 years ago concepts. And when you read Good to Great and then you read BE 2.0, it's just the amount of learning that happened over the 20 years. So that's a great entrepreneurship book. Mm-hmm. When it comes to becoming a great leader, there are some really wonderful books. John Maxwell, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Great book. Anything about servant leadership and Robert Greenleaf, I'm a big proponent of that. Trust and Inspire, which is a book by Steve Covey Jr. that's out of the Covey leadership. So he took over his dad's business. All of these things about leadership doesn't happen unless you grow personally. How are you going to lead if you personally don't put that effort in? And so we talk about personal growth, personal mastery. And I think some of those great books I mentioned, I love what Sharma did. There's an amazing CEO coach named John Roussat, and he has taken a number of these concepts and built a very practical way to inculcate this into your life.
You seem like very dedicated to your own like mental and healing growth. Did you ever go to therapy, or is your therapy more like reading
I'm married
books?
to, my wife should have been a therapist. Honestly, I don't know how it happened, but I just don't like to live in a negative place. So I don't go there.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a little bit of compartmentalizing the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do all of us get down? Yeah, I'm tired. We get tired and get negative. Somebody beat me up the hill on the bike, but I'm like right back in it. Those are my buddies.
Yeah.
But no, I don't allow myself to get there. I don't want to go there. You know what I'm saying?
Seem self-aware.
We all find it, but I'm out of there.
Well, you seem self-aware. It seems like your therapy is actually like reading books and challenging yourself to like think about how you can improve and do better.
Yeah. And there's certain rules. Like, tomorrow's going to be a better day.
Yeah.
I had a shitty day. All right, I'm going to sleep early. I'm feeling sick. I'm hitting the bed, and just give me some tea. I'll see you in the morning. Tomorrow's going to be a better day. And I tell my sons that. It's interesting because they're two mini me's. One takes after my wife more. One takes probably after me a little bit more.
You and Cody look so much alike.
Yeah,
I haven't met your other son yet,
yeah,
but I've talked to Cody a lot.
We all got that look. And, it's like my family and my extended family, I have my practice uptown. I have about 27 people. And for me, they're family. A lot of the people have been with me 25, 27, 30 years.
Yeah.
And then I have a young group of people also. I'm a hard driving person. I always say to my team, I'm never going to ask you to do something that I'm not going to ask of myself. in the leadership position, you also want to inspire people to hit that next level.
Yeah.
Now, some people might not want to do that, and that's okay. That's okay. But the people who you really want to move the needle for you and grow the business, they have to share that kind of grower mindset, right?
Totally. Yeah. Okay, before I let you go, I want to talk a couple things. Dentist stuff, mouth stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Products.
Right.
So, like, for dummies, like, dumb it down. Like, what should people be doing at home to their mouth that they are not doing that could help a lot?
It's not that hard.
I know, but it's so intimidating.
It's like it's going to the gym or it's going out for the run. It's like, I haven't worked out in 2 weeks. Well, I haven't brushed in 2 weeks. It's the same mindset. It's like a little bit of, no kidding, it's a discipline. It's having a game. And it's a gamify it where, twice a day, you spend enough time, you can mechanically remove the plaque that forms on your teeth because the body thinks it's a foreign invader if it sets up on your teeth for too long. So you get a splinter under your skin. What happens fairly soon? It gets red. It's the body's inflammatory response. Inflammation is designed to protect us. But when it becomes chronic, the other side of the coin hits. It hurts us. Helps us, hurts us. Helps us, hurts us. So if we remove the plaque off of the teeth timely, effectively, we will have a healthy mouth. So what does that mean? We have to be in a great office that understands all of these little nuances and not to be critical. Oh, you're not flossing. Oh, you're not. Please stop it. You got to stay positive.
Yeah.
It's like, I missed that backhand in tennis. What am I going to get down on myself? I'm going to miss the next point. I'm sitting. Do you see him get down on himself? He might make a look, but he's right into it. It's the same thing. Stay on your game. That's why I call it, you got to have an oral health game. So we have a whole order of events. What's the order of events? Electric brush, 5 times more effective than a manual brush. Fantastic. Numero uno. Number 2, these high-powered water flossers, about 60 PSI. They're amazing, and they get in between. So brushing can't do a great job in between the teeth, and that's where inflammation sets up. Hard to reach areas between the teeth. We call it the interdental area.
I need both.
Water floss. You will not be leaving Smile House today without one. I'm going to set you up.
Okay.
So electric brush, water flosser, and then the boys, with a little help from Dad, created this immunity rinse in their Twice company that is a pH-raising, oxygenating rinse. That's what you want to do. You want to get this acid-base balance more to that neutral. That's when the good bacteria thrive and the bad bacteria do not. Great. So you do this rinse. Then I like to use these little flossers that are on a little plastic, and they're just easy to go around the mouth. Fantastic. And we like also a tongue scraper because that's great for breath. And what happens between the teeth also happens in the deep recesses of the tongue. So then you're also using this tongue scraper. I am telling you, in 3 minutes, you're doing all of this. You're done. You're fresh. Your breath is great, and you're not allowing these 4 phases of inflammation to set up in your mouth.
Okay, I'm going to do it. You sold me. I'm going to do it.
It's that easy. And then you got to have a diet that makes sense. I'm sorry. Sugar is the enemy for our body and for our mouth. So you got to, just take it easy on the sugar. Sorry for all you people who love to drink that you got to really be in moderation. That alcohol and sugar is the 2 ingredients that will cause you to age prematurely, to not be at your peak, to not have great memory and great mindset. And so you got to control it. As a young person, yes, we all love to be social and we love to have a drink, but you have to get to a point where if you have that kind of body that doesn't do well with alcohol, you got to eliminate it.
Yeah.
Some people really don't do well with alcohol, and in general, alcohol, very moderation, okay. Okay. So the diet, alkalinizing food versus acidifying. That's the fruits and vegetables, 60-40 compared to the protein, which is more of meats and fishes and chicken. So it's understanding these things. Hopefully my book's going to come out in the next few months. So, we'll cover a lot of this stuff. But we do have a really nice guide that my younger son, Cody Levine, put together. And it's really great. And it's just, here's the things that you need to do. Here's the order of events. Won't take you very long. Play a little music. you know,
love it.
in the bathroom. But just make it fun. Just gamify it.
Yeah. Okay, the last thing I want to pick your brain about, this is the one thing I am very good at. I'm obsessed with contouring the jaw,
Oh, yeah.
doing the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Fascia release,
I am
stress release.
hyper fixated on it. How does that apply to the mouth and dentistry?
I hope our jaw massage Tara is at the Smile House today.
I have an appointment on Thursday, so either way,
it's fantastic.
I'm going to experience it.
Well, just think about it. Our domain is the top of the nose to the top of the airway. The joint, the jaw, which is called the condyle, which is on the lower jaw, disc, assembly. It's the only joint that does this, rotates and translates down the skull. The muscles that move the jaw is what we do. I'm prosthodontist. That's all we do is look at how things come together. When things don't come together right, the muscles are thrown off. So those are triggers. Everybody who's got a sleep issue, 90% of them grind their teeth. If you have a sleep issue, you normally have a small airway and you move your jaw forward and you end up grinding your teeth and get your jaw forward to open up your airway by moving your tongue forward. So jaw stress release and massage, which we're doing in Smile House, dental offices will get it. We have estheticians that come in where our patients can book these appointments, and before and after appointments, we have them for at least 5 minutes. And we also show patients these tools that you could use to relax. You know, they're all of these nice rollers, and you keep them in the freezer, and you just stress the muscles, because the truth of the matter is, you live in New York City, LA, Miami, Dallas, and Chicago, you are stressing.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
High-powered, high energy. People are under stress. So relaxation, breath work, meditation, and all of this kind of massage and stress release massage and yoga and all these things that stretches our joints is going to be positive.
I'm obsessed with it.
You're
I feel like
you're gonna love it.
when I do like my gua sha, my ice roll and everything, like I actually feel better. I look better.
Exactly.
I need to just take care of my teeth. I need to get on my teeth.
You're
routine.
gonna have oral health game. That's all there is.
I'm
to it.
ready. Thank you so much for coming on and just
Loved
sharing
it.
all your knowledge and your mindset stuff. I ask everybody who comes on the podcast, looking back at everything you've done, the entire journey, what you've built, there's so much more to come. You have a new book coming out, but looking back, how do you see it all?
An iterative journey impacted by the people I have surrounded myself with, and the learnings from the people that I spend time with propels me into the next thing.
I love that. That's so good. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Please
for
share where
having
people
me.
can follow you, and also where they can follow your practice and Smile House and book and all of that.
Yeah. So I'm at Dr. John Levine, Jon Levine is my Instagram handle, if you call it that. Of course, I'm on LinkedIn. Smilehouse.co. We didn't get the com, but we got the co. Smilehouse, one word. And jblnyc.com is the uptown practice. And according to my two sons, our websites are joining forces by mid-month of
that's
September,
awesome.
which I love very much. And yeah, and
awesome.
I'm easy to reach. And, you know, my mindset is, you know, how do we help each other? Let's
I love
help each
it.
other.
Thank you so much. And also, again, thank you so much for hosting the happy hour with us tonight. It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
I'll be there as soon as I get out of my uptown office.
Yeah.
I got to run back up.
I know. I have to run back too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Hannah.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you leave here feeling motivated and inspired. Do not forget to rate and review the pod on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and don't forget to follow How I See It Pod so you can keep up with podcast updates and see who's coming on next. And if you're not already, come join the fam and follow at How Han Sees It. Thank you guys.